Creating product photos sounds complicated, but honestly, it's simple if you remember a few key things. That's what I want to share with you today, so next time you shoot a product, you will know how to make them look polished without a full studio. A lot of time you don't have studio anyway. You might need to shoot on location, in a restaurant, in a shop, or like me, in a warehouse. In those cases, you just build a small studio setup where the product is. And if you know what to focus on, you will get good results. Step 1 is to talk to your client. Ask if they have reference images, examples of what they like. Look carefully at those images. Try to figure out what lighting was used, how the shadow fall, and what the background looks like. That's exactly what I did for this auction shoot. They sent me very clean, polished studio shots as a reference. By looking at them, I could see the setup was based on 3 lights. One to brighten the background and create nice gradient, one from the side to shape the bottles, and one from above as a finishing highlight. So before I even touched my camera, I knew the direction I had to go. That way, once I got to the warehouse, I wasn't wasting my time guessing. I could focus straight away on building the set, position the light, and matching the look they wanted. When I arrived to the warehouse, the first thing I noticed was how bright it was inside. There were overhead lights and people working, so I couldn't control the ambient light. In situations like that, you need to take control with your camera. I set my camera so the frame was as dark as possible, basically cutting out all the ambient light. That way the only light affecting the product would be my flashes. Then I could build the image exactly how I wanted. For this shoot I used 3 Profoto D1. One light went behind the bottles to brighten the background to give this soft halo effect. Another light was placed on the side as a key light, and the third one was set above to add a touch of highlight and separation. For the backdrop I use Colorama Cappuccino roll, size 135 by 11 meters. I use it both as a background and as a surface under the bottles. On top of that, I added an acrylic sheet to help diffuse the light and give the bottles a nice gradient reflection. Once everything was in place, I put the test bottle on the table and started adjusting. My goal was to balance 3 lights. Background light the darkest, side light the brightest, and top light somewhere in the middle to give detail. For the camera setting, I shot at f11. I wanted everything in focus since these were product shots for auction. If you wanted a shallower depth of field, you could use a wider aperture, but then you would probably need an ND filter to balance the flash against the ambient light. I controlled everything through my Profoto trigger. Each light was assigned to its own channel, A for the side key light, B for the background, and C for the top light. That way I could adjust their power directly from camera without walking back and forth. It saved a lot of time, especially since I was working alone that day. The idea here isn't to copy the setup exactly, but to understand once you have that structure, you can play with the balance until it feels right. Once the lighting was set, I photographed each bottle individually, then in groups. I shot handheld rather than on tripod because I wanted the freedom to move around and adjust the composition quickly. After the bottles, I moved onto the crates. Since they were full of wine, but I kept composition simple, stacks of 3 on top of each other. When I finished each set, I placed them back on the palette so that at the end I could photograph the full palette shot without wasting time rearranging. For the setup itself, I built the table using Stanley folding sawhorses, a palette, a plastic board on top to level the surface, and then the Colorama paper on top. It's a quick and portable solution and much easier than relying on whatever table the client might have on the side. For the top light, I use C-stand with boom arm to position it directly above the bottles, fitted with a honeycomb grid to keep the light focused. For the side key light, I use 2x3 softbox, further diffused with an acrylic sheet for smoother fall off. The third light for the background was placed on top of the boxes that I could find in the warehouse. In the end, the shots were clean, polished, exactly what they had to be for the auction. That's the key with product photography on location. Plan ahead, study references, control the light as much as you can, and build simple but effective setup. I hope this was helpful and interesting to share my behind the scenes, that you can see how I build the setup, how I photograph that, and I hope it was useful for some of you. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.